India is obsessed with fair skin. This is the message I received. You are fair, and this is a very big advantage. So I knew that my biggest beauty standard as a child growing up is like, oh, I'm fair. But of course, then the body weight, I was body shamed a lot. I was often told that you're so beautiful, you're so fair, if only you could lose weight. So even the privilege that I had was not enough. I grew up in India. My 20s, my childhood, everything was in India, and then I moved to Germany. India is like, it's so diverse and so big and vast. One person cannot speak about everyone, but I can speak from my experience of growing up in the community that I grew up in, which is sometimes very different from other parts of India. There is this pressure that you're running out of time. That's the biggest thing I learned, and I've been actively trying to unlearn for a decade now. If you don't get your education done by this age, then it would be different. If you don't get married by this age, then it would be a problem. If you don't get a child, all of these things, I feel the pressure to do things within a limited range of age. Pursuing that after that age is a lost cause. That is said so often, sometimes so directly, and sometimes also in subtle ways. And depending on where you grow up in India and who you surround yourself with, schools, teachers, it becomes a part of the ecosystem that feeds you this information, and then you have no choice but to internalize, because if you try to go against that system, you also lose a lot of time. Because also fighting, sometimes this is misconception that if you follow your dreams, if you rebel, wow, you're so brave, you still lose time, because fighting against the system, it's like going against the current of the river, right? So it requires more energy, time, and at the end of the day, you are as exhausted as someone who's suppressing their emotions and enabling the systems. India is obsessed with fair skin. Colorism is a very big issue. I think because I grew up in a part of the Himalayas where most people they often have fair or wheatish complexion. And I was raised with this teaching that you have been gifted with such a blessing, that this is the most important. I think I got the message. Of course, it was not told to me exactly how I'm saying, but this is the message I received, that you are fair, and this is a very big advantage. And I agree it is, but it's not an advantage, it's a privilege which a lot of people don't realize they have. How it fucked my brain was, if I had dark circles, if I had acne, I was always body shamed for that. Like, oh my God, why do you have acne? Because it's like you have to protect this white skin, and I internalized it, So I knew that my biggest beauty standard as a child growing up is like, oh, I'm fair. I was innocent, I was naive, I was ignorant. So of course, I'm sure I must have been adamant, arrogant about it. Because when you are told that this is your power, I'm sure I must have used it. I understand it now, of course, and I make sure that I understand the privilege that it comes with, the fair skin. But at the same time, I'm often, in my comedy, I take this up and I often joke about, like, how me being a person of color in Europe, sometimes it's very satirical to me, because in India, I'm the white woman in India, right? This has been the biggest beauty standard. But of course, then the body weight, and I was body shamed a lot as a child, because I was often told that, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so fair, if only you could lose weight. So even the privilege that I had was not enough. I think I would give social media the credit, because I know people back in India also now who have access to Instagram or all these social media, where a lot of people are coming forward, sharing their stories. There are so many pages who kind of like sometimes annoyingly talk about body positivity. And I often tell in my comedy routines that I'm not body positive, I'm body neutral. Like I don't think it's logistically possible to love my body every day. It's a lot of work, and I don't think that's sometimes sustainable. Even before moving to Germany, I think these conversations, as I was growing older, my friend circle was changing. I was meeting new people even back in India, because I was now living in a bigger city in India. So I met more people who looked different. The face is different, the color is different, the way they speak is different, and it kind of expands your views about everything, I would say. I have these pictures of my mom when she was in her 20s. And I know it's my mom, so I might sound like, oh, it's your mom, but she's so beautiful in those pictures. And like her face, the symmetry, I tear up when I talk about my mom. So I hope that's okay. But she's not fair. She does not have a fair complexion. And what happened is, when I was growing up, she would always glorify this, that I have fair complexion, and she would always say, you're my pretty daughter, and you're so fair, you're like milk, like your dad. And my brother and my mom are not fair. So she would always often, very harmlessly joke about, like, my son is like me and you are like your dad. And she liked it because, again, not denying that I'm not beautiful. I am not denying that I'm good looking, but I think the good looking part, when combined with the color of your skin, it's a red flag then, right? So I don't know. So she would often say that, oh no, I'm not beautiful because I'm not fair. I never believed that, because I found her so beautiful, because she has these long, big eyes and eyelashes. She, in her 20s, resembled a lot like one of my favorite actresses growing up, Madhuri Dixit. And whenever she used to get ready, I would watch her. Like, she had a certain style and grace to how she got ready. And I just found her so beautiful in all of that, if we only talk about, appearance. So I think it left me confused. I never believed it, so I never internalized it that, I am more beautiful than her because I'm fair. But yeah, I heard that a lot growing up from her, which kind of reinforced the idea that, fair skin is better. When it comes to beauty standards, Bollywood, advertisements, media, mass media, we have fairness creams. The biggest example is that India has a very popular, even now, face cream called, it used to be called as Fair and Lovely. But now they changed it to Glow and Lovely, because, come on, like, you can't say fair. But it's still doing the same thing. It is basically telling people, mostly women and queer people, that, yeah, use this cream and you'll become fair. And if you become fair, your opportunities at work, at relationships, at peace, at love, at friendship goes up by 10%. And this is internalized so much. My only grudge is with these people in power, like women included, upper caste, upper class women in power, who sometimes might enable this, who still have the privilege to say no to this and stop consuming this, stand against this, but they also never practice their privilege. That's where I get angry, where, people who have the resources and power still kind of endorse. So it is a big thing, colorism, because of colonialism, because of casteism, and because of Bollywood patriarchy. It's still a very prominent thing. And, even now, a lot of content over on web series, Amazon, Netflix, is being made to speak against it. In comedy, there's no pressure of aging. You can be of any age, get up on stage, tell a joke. I used to work in IT as a computer science engineer. When I quit IT and I started pursuing arts and performance arts especially, I'd never felt the pressure of, aging. And communities, I think I have met so many amazing older women in their 50s, 60s, 70s. Looking at them and how they are doing whatever they want to do, not thinking about what age they are in. Yeah, it gives you so much power. It tells you, like, there is really no age for anything you want to do. I have so many friends who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and some of them are achieving things they always wanted to achieve now in their 60s and 70s, which kind of is hopeful. Moving to Germany did give me one thing, which is that lie in a park without a bra, and I think it had so much power. I mean, for me personally, because when I was growing up in India, and I used to live in a town which would get 44 degrees hot during summers, and but I was still expected to wear full clothing, bra, not show my skin and all of that. But all I wanted to do was just be naked, in a pool somewhere, or just lie under the tree without a bra and as minimum clothes as possible. 20 years ago, maybe, I would think, like, will there ever come a time I will be able to do this? Not knowing, or not even having a slightest idea that I will one day live in Germany, where nudity is such a pro nudity, right? Free body culture. And then when I moved to Germany, I think this was the first thing I jumped on. Just being able to go anywhere, to buy bread, to buy groceries, to go to a park without caring about what should I wear, is there hair on my body, is my bra strap showing, all these small things that gave me so much, like, gave me sense of freedom and sense of self. And then all these thoughts about that I used to think as a child coming true, actually, and that realization that, oh shit, it's possible in this lifetime. It's actually the patriarchy that is stopping us. I moved to Germany so I could be naked. Back in 2013, I woke up scratching myself, and I felt like I was on fire. And I was living with my brother at the time, so we lived in a rented apartment. He was sleeping in the other room. I went near the wash basin sink and turned on the light, and there was a mirror, and I looked at me and I screamed because I had broken out into hives, and I started screaming, very badly. And my brother woke up. It is really funny. He woke up and he came out of the room and he's like, ah, ah. And he just went back into his room and shut the door on me or something like that. And I was like, no. And he really got scared because he was also half asleep. And yeah, of course, we called our father in the middle of the night, who works in medicine. He immediately guessed that it's an allergic reaction to something. But yeah, it didn't go away. For next 6 months, I struggled to really understand what it was. I mean, I found out later it was hives. I used all the kind of face creams to get rid of this allergy. I had to take leave from work because I was looking like a bumblebee, like, throughout. And my eyes like this, my lips like this. And everything I had been told about my beauty just disappeared. After I found out that it's food allergies, it became like a joke that, oh, so what did you eat today? You're swollen up again today. And being the clown that I am, being the funny person in through all of that, I would make jokes about myself. I mean, I'm making jokes, so I should also learn how to take jokes about me. But it went on for so long before it became better that, yeah, I was really depressed. I struggled to love myself. Through that, I found myself so ugly and everything. But then, there came a point where I realized that it's not going away so easily. So I have to reconcile with it. I have to be friends with this part of myself. And then, yeah, it remained with me for 7 years. And then surprisingly during the pandemic, because I did not have to go anywhere, so I experimented with, I just stopped the medicine. And it just went away. My immune system had become healthier in 7 years. It really changed the entire idea and perception of beauty standards for me, because I was forced to love myself and see myself when I thought I looked the worst. And that incident kind of, even though it was painful, even though it was confusing to go through it, but I'm really, really glad that it happened to me now in hindsight, because if that wouldn't have happened, I would have never really been able to understand the nuance of, beauty when it comes to that. So I still had friends love me when I was looking like this. I still had a partner. I still I worked. I still did everything I could. So what does beauty really help you with? Because you're able to do anything, even if you're ugly. Is what I'm going to end this with, yeah. So I think, yeah, that's what really changed it for me. Hives. Get hives, everyone. Hives 5. I can go on.